Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today I'm going to try my best to showcase some kind of form of Perfect Agony combined with Seething Fury and Shield skills, which I think is pretty damn strong right now, and you can't really lose what you do with it. But before we get into that, this is an Occultist character, and by all means, let's just enjoy some nice, girthy Occultist pops and lag spikes caused by them.
Got another one for you.
Juicy stuff indeed. So the concept of the character is to use Shield Crush and I suppose Shield Charge to proc poisons, and then also have juicy explosions coming from Occultist, Curse Explode node, and also Asenath's Gloves. The idea was to use Perfect Agony and stack a bunch of power charges so that I have pretty much 100% chance to crit, and then turn all of our crit multi into damage over time multiplier. So with this thing, damage over time multiplier does nothing. So it is a different way of doing poison scaling. Like there's chaos damage over time and damage over time multiplier on the tree and gear. You stop doing that altogether because it does nothing, and instead you just scale crit multi. And with the Seething Fury dual, while wearing a shield that has a lot of energy shield, you have quite a lot of crit and crit multi to begin with. Now, I think I misbuilt this character to begin with. I tried to do something and it worked out, by all means. It worked out. It is a character. It functions pretty well. It hit level 94 so far and just blasts maps, but I do think it could be built a lot better using, let's say, for example, just to begin with, an Ungul's amulet for a lot of extra crit, not focusing as much on power charges for scaling, and thus the tree wouldn't be quite as messy. And also I'm using Emperor's Vigilance in this build, which is the shield that gives a lot of armor and energy shield, but it has some weird defensive scaling with glancing block and going through energy shield, that sort of stuff. I think the character could instead be much thicker with a different shield, with a different setup. You could even be evasion energy shield. You could even not have to be an occultist, but if you still want pops, you'd run an obliteration wand instead. All that said, like I said, the character functions pretty well. I just have to run determination for a bit more comfort during maps, and then swap into malevolence at times. The end result is pretty much a dot cap situation for poison and shield crush, almost no matter what you do, as long as you scale it well enough. So the damage here is actually pretty damn insane, because you can hit 100 crit fairly easily and then just have several hundred crit multi, which is damage over time multiplier. All you have to really worry about is getting some attack speed and then some kind of damage scaling. So minion damage that's turned into player damage. I'm doing the Scourge Claw to do that. Otherwise, generic damage, chaos damage, poison damage, all of that sort of stuff. Just getting a bunch of that will yield huge results because of the base of crit and crit multi that you have off of running Seething Fury, off of running Perfect Agony. As you can see, there's some tier 17 action here. I started doing tier 17s at around level 89 on this character because we're just blasting through maps, so why not? The clear on them can be pretty damn good. It can also be pretty annoying depending on what type of mobs we come across. So like I was saying, I don't think the character's built super well for all content right now. Like, it is squishy at times, especially versus certain situations and mobs. So I can get in quite a lot of troubles in some tier 17s. Typically I can clear the entire thing, but then a boss fight with some map mods will fuck me up. So I've run maybe like 8 on this character so far and bricked like a couple of them, and it can be pretty uncomfortable and frustrating because that is the tier 17 experience. And realistically, if I wanted to actually just cruise through these, I think I would have to be more of a evasion, energy shield, ghost dance type of setup, or an Aegis Aurora. Aegis Aurora? I think so. Yeah, Aegis Aurora. Shield block type of situation. So this is, yeah, just a much easier to put together type of build, but I think the end results are a bit worse for some of that super end game content. That said, like I said, the DPS is really crazy here. You can see that the ramp, once it gets going, is insane. I think we're hitting dot cap at the moment, and I might still try and rebuild it to be a bit better of a character. If not, I might still just give some kind of other option as to how to build this type of thing as well. But all you really got to do is have a look at Perfect Agony, shield skills, Seething Fury. It's fucking crazy. I think you can't really go wrong. Lots of different ways to build this type of thing. Let me go ahead and show you what I've done for this character so far though. So the character is currently level 94, math will Y minion nodes. Quite a common question that seems to pop up anytime I am near or taking spiritual aid or spiritual command. I am utilizing kind of both in this build to get attack speed and extra damage. So you don't have to do a Scourge Claw. It just seemed like decent value because we really don't get that much out of a main hand weapon when running these sorts, these shield skills with like poison and stuff. So I figured I'd go with this, and it also saves me speccing into this, and it makes my minion damage nodes more powerful. Plus, I get a lot of extra attack speed for using this, and then also a ring that, you know, mirrored extra increased attack speed. Pick one of these up for, I don't know, a divine, something like that. Really tough to get your own mirrored gear, but there is a lot out in the market that will be pretty good for your build. So we are utilizing Emperor's Vigilance, like I said, a lot of armor and energy shield, and that gets turned into quite a lot of physical damage through Shield Crush, and then of course the Seething Fury, which is the entire reason we have this much crit and this much offhand multi, because of that 10 ES scaling with this type of item. So with that, you have pretty easy crit cap with some extra crit scaling somewhere, and then running Perfect Agony means you no longer do damage over time multiplier. So by that I mean, like, if you actually spec this stuff, it does nothing anymore, and it's very low value at this point anyway, so it'd be terrible. Instead you care about crit multi, so crit multi like that. The crit multi that's here, my current crit multi without power charges is 466, so that's 466 damage over time multiplier. I think it's something like 500 when I'm power charged up, and the idea was to kind of go occultist for power charge nodes for area, generic damage, good sustain, the rest of the occultist stuff of course, and then using the pretty classic combo of Elegant Hubris with a impossible escape necromantic Aegis that lets me have some extra damage scaling nodes. So I got 10 damage per power charge, some aura, power charge, minion damage, and then this does nothing. So in the end, these are 70 damage each because I don't have 8 power charges like I was at least hoping to do, but 7, and then an 80 that gets turned into a 120. So ideally a lot of extra minion damage, but instead we just got this because it's like, I don't know, a divine or something, so nothing too bad. You can do a big node over here instead as well, converting to minion damage nodes, or power charge damage nodes too, and quite likely get a lot of value out of that. Or you can forego this entirely, save a lot of points, and then scale some other way. A cluster for minion damage or a cluster for chaos damage works just fine. This entire tree I'm kind of not happy with because it needed to do a lot, especially with the power charge scaling as well. The end result isn't too bad. Like, it's a pretty cool character to fuck around with and just blast maps and get a lot of gold per hour, but I'm not super happy with the overall build. Like, I don't know really what else to say. I've done my best to make first draft of a concept, but I think there's a better build in here for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be bothered finding the entire thing though. So what I'm doing for now is at least showing you what I've done, because if you go out and copy this and play it, there will be maps where you're just going to be like dying to stuff, and it won't feel very good, and I want to make sure you know that. But then there'll be maps where things feel incredibly insane. As long as you keep your momentum up, then pretty typically you're not going to be dying to almost anything. But with this shield, things do get uncomfortable. Damage taken from blocked hits cannot bypass energy shield, so you try and get your glancing and your block up as much as possible. We have 74 attack block, 78 spell block, but then damage taken from unblocked hits bypasses energy shield, and as you can see, we've got about 4.4k life. I am trying to maintain some level of armor with determination up, and a flask, and then some endurance charges, but my sustain on the build is almost entirely this flask and some life on kill. So it's not great in that regard either. Yeah, I think there might be better ways of doing this. An Aegis Aurora would be less damage, of course, but you could become basically unkillable. An energy shield and evasion shield, which I started working on over here. Something like this is a little bit less value than one of these, but I think could have an overall nicer build to it, and you could like kind of skip an entire side of the tree, go another side of the tree, not going power charges, and instead getting pretty much all of your crit from an Ungles. I don't know if I've got one to show, but amulet that does like 350 crit, and then you can make it even higher crit with crit catalysts. And it says critical strikes deal no extra damage, which already doesn't matter to us. So you could pretty much cap your crit from that, and then just, you know, try and find the missing value from your amulet elsewhere, because that is so much value on an amulet, and it would mean you didn't really need power charges, and you could build a little bit different. But with the power charges, I am based around this hat as well, which gives us chance to poison, which I do need at the moment in the build. I have no aspect of the spider, so ignore that portion of the item. It's just for the chance to poison and the extra damage, which isn't nothing. It's like 140 poison damage, and then all that extra chance to poison, which I needed to come from somewhere. We're running Ascendancy for the extra temp chains, and the pops feels really good on top of the chaos pops. And then I just had to try and squeeze in resists everywhere I could. So a lot of resists, an additional curse. I rolled this just by grabbing a hunter chest and then rolling reroll caster until I hit some good results. And then we are running a Ming's Heart, which almost doubles our output, at a cost, of course, but pretty damn hard to not run given the amount of extra output that it generates. My links at the moment are Shield Crush, Deadly Elements, Void Manip, Melee Fizz, Unbound, and Multi-Strike. The shield charge that actually kills shit by itself is Shield Charge, Swift Affliction, Fortify, and Faster Attacks. We could probably drop Swift Affliction, put in Sadism even, just to make things a bit faster, but I just chucked this on and it seems to be working fine. Totem support with Wither Totem, Frostblink, Despair for self-cast Despair, running a Haste, an Arrogance for precision and clarity on my life, and then Plague Bearer that I barely ever fucking use because it's honestly not very noticeable in this build, Malevolence, and a Herald of Agony. Not sure if there's anything else to really
with Methyl.
Not sure if there's anything else to really mention, but that's pretty much all I've got for now. It is a fun character. There is a huge concept in there for Perfect Agony. It just seems actually pretty insane at the moment. I'm going to keep playing it and maybe fine-tune it. We'll see if there's another video for the exact character, or if I put out a different one with a different sort of setup. I'm not sure I can be bothered, no lie, but yeah. I'm not super pleased with the end result here, because I know there's a lot more potential, but at the same time it is still a good character, and it was pretty worth playing. So we'll see what happens, but for now, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.